for people to come on your channel and just be insulting with no offer of any kind of constructive criticism, I guess they just don't have anything better to do with their time. Hello, it's Cheryl. I'm back with another update on the Milan Art Institute program. And I am, I've just finished, it's been a couple weeks, I've finished sections 6 through 10. And in that time, we were to do 4 different abstract background paintings, trying to develop our own process, work on our voice and our style and so on. And in that time, we worked with gold leaf, which was very new to me. So I'll show you in a minute the paintings that I did and what I used the gold leaf for. And then we also worked on creating sources, which fortunately I've had some experience in that because I've been using Procreate on my iPad for a few years now, and I enjoy digital art, so I'm kind of familiar with how to create different sources using that. So that's something I fortunately don't have to spend too much time learning. And then we also learned about Demetra's mixed media process, and again that involves a lot of spray paint, collage, acrylic drips and so on, all of which I kind of like. The collage, as I've said before, I really don't like it because I'm not doing something right, and I end up with too many bubbles, and no matter what I do to smooth it out, I don't know. I'm just not, it's not my thing. I've never been like a crafty person, and my fingers get stuck, the glue, the paper, it's such a mess. I don't mind getting messy because I love charcoal. It's the fact that I'm just clumsy with the media, and it doesn't make it a pleasant experience for me. So collage is probably not going to be part of my process. Spray paint maybe, but I've got to get some nozzles so that I can use different kinds of nozzles to get different effects. Because right now all I have is whatever comes with the spray paint, and it's just not real versatile. The inks, I do enjoy working with the acrylic fluid inks and then the alcohol inks because I like the different types of designs and surprises you get when you spray those things together or on top of spray paint or whatever it is. So that I enjoy. That could become part of my process. The abstract backgrounds, I really like that, especially using a lot of acrylic paint and ink, because it just helps to get the canvas stained with something. But also I feel like the more acrylic paint that I use, the smoother I can get my oil paint to go on without having so much canvas tooth. I'm one of those who I kind of like a smooth painting. I don't necessarily like the canvas tooth showing through. I like brush strokes showing, but there's something about the canvas showing through that I don't know why. Some paintings my acrylic paintings always have canvas tooth showing. And maybe that's just my impatience in not doing enough layers of paint. And possibly the same with oil. I don't know. And that's just a preference and a style choice, I believe. So I'm still working through all that. I do know I like to have a thicker layer of paint. So the projects that we worked on, the gold leaf projects, are the first ones I'm going to show you behind me here. The first one I did was this unicorn, the unicorn and hummingbird. I'll grab that real quick. So my unicorn and hummingbird. There we go. And I started with, I used spray paint, acrylic drips, and rollers. And then once I got that background done, then I started putting on the gold leaf. And this was the first experience with gold leaf. So of course I wanted it on the horn and on the hummingbird's wings. Those were the kind of the focal points. So, but when I went to put the thin layer of oil paint over the top, it just started coming off. And I don't know if I just didn't use enough adhesive. I didn't wait long enough for it to dry. I'm not sure. But for some reason, it started the gold started rolling off as I was painting it. So obviously I didn't do something right. But anyway, what's left, you can see here, a little bit there. And then on the horn, almost all of it ended up coming off. So it's okay. It is what it is. But I had fun with it. And then I did mark making with acrylic pens. And then went over with oil to kind of paint them in. So I kind of like that effect. It's more, whimsical or abstract versus, any kind of realism. And that seemed to be appropriate for this particular piece. So that's that one. I wanted to do this one. And this is a tribute to the Sumerian goddess Anana. So this is my vision of Anana. And Anana's animal symbols are doves and lions. So she is considered the magnificent great lady. And I don't know why I've always had a fascination with Sumerian mythology and Anana. So that was what I wanted to do here. Again, I used the gold leaf. So this one, the same as the other, I started out with a little bit of spray paint, a little bit of acrylic paint, some inks and drips and mark making. See a little bit of mark making along here. Then I used some stencils to do a little bit more over here. And then, of course, the gold leaf just in her crown. And I have my acrylic pens have like a metallic gold and a metallic silver. So like her earrings and the nose ring, I was able to use the acrylic pens before I started oil to do those. So I liked how this one came out. Probably could have done a better job in the transitions between everything. They're kind of all floating out there on their own. But other than that, I really like this. And this is one that that for me is a keeper because I feel like I really captured what was in my source and what was in my mind, in my imagination. So, all right, moving on. Then we were to do two more, and I come across some interesting documentaries about a city from Egyptian ancient times that was underwater. Herculon? I can't remember the name. Anyway, so an Egyptian city, which was this one, and then there was a Greek city also under the water that I did a little bit of research on because I was fascinated by these statues and buildings that are just sitting under the water that divers can just go check out. I just thought that was really cool. So I started with, I was doing both at the same time, actually. So I used spray paint, drips, acrylic inks, some mark making, and then finished it with oils. And I really enjoy doing statues for whatever reason. In fact, I like doing statues better than people, but that's kind of limited. So I wanted one with an octopus and one with seahorses. I was going to do them all in the same. And then I thought, no, let's do one of the Egypt ruins and one of the Roman ruins or Greek ruins. So the first one was the octopus. And the statue. So. And I taped it really tight this time. And I actually then taped it to my easel so that the edges wouldn't curl so easily. So this turned out a lot better. And then because I didn't do collage, well, no, but this one I did do collage actually. You can see in his head, there's like a rose. I had a huge picture, and it was like an orange rose. So I collaged that right on his head. And then there are other collage pieces, tissue paper that I used here to create some texture, and a little bit in here. But that was about it. I didn't want to use a lot. I used some down here in the bottom, which is where part of the ruins are. So that one is Curious Octopus. That's what I named it. Okay. And then this one is Curious Seahorses. So here's this one. And this one is obviously the Egyptian one. Here's my statue and the Curious Seahorse. Checking him out. And again, I didn't use any collage on this one. It was all mark making, spray paint, acrylic inks, alcohol inks. So the detail there. Anyway. So this one was kind of fun. And again, I taped it down really good so that it wouldn't curl up like my first two did. And I also worked on finishing up some paintings that I'm hoping to be my first portfolio series. You can see this one back here hanging on the wall. I started painting the sides of them and getting them ready to varnish. So that's kind of what I've been working on, getting a head start. Although I'm still not quite sure I'm getting pretty sure of my process, not quite sure of my voice and my style. Another thing I want to talk about, I really enjoy all the comments. I appreciate it. And I know there are a lot of other art students out there, whether they're with the Milan program or other programs. And so it's really fun to hear what you're doing and compare notes or, network in whatever way we can. I really enjoy that. But I've gotten comments in the past on videos that really have no purpose other than to, I don't know, I'm not even sure what to call it. It's almost like trying to bait me into an argument or an insult match or whatever. And I'm not into that. So if somebody makes a negative comment, I'll either ignore it, or if there's something I can do to, respond in a way that provides some kind of a learning experience, then I will. But in general, whatever comment people put on my channel, it doesn't affect my enthusiasm for art. It doesn't affect my level of confidence or lack of confidence. I'm a beginning artist. I've been painting and drawing and doing all of that my entire life because I love it. But formal training is something I never really pursued until now. So yeah, my art is behind. My art is not as good as other people's. My art is not probably at the point, it's definitely not at the point I want it to be, but I'm continuing to work on that. And it's up to the viewer to decide if it's beautiful, if it's good, if it's not good, if it's, there are so many rules to follow about composition, about color theory, all of those things. There's so much to learn in order to really produce good art pieces. And, for people to come on your channel and just be insulting with no offer of any kind of constructive criticism, I guess they just don't have anything better to do with their time. But that's on them, not me. So I don't worry about it. But I do encourage comments because I do want, suggestions. So anything anybody sees that they feel they have some ideas on how to improve something I'm doing, I am totally open to that because I want the feedback. The only reason I share this is because I want the feedback. I'm, unless you're going to a class, you're in a physical classroom with other artists or with a professor that can, make recommendations, you're all alone. When you're taking an online course, you're pretty much all alone unless you're paying for a tutor or a mentor. So the community is the one that can support and comment and critique. And that's, I believe, what is, the best thing about having these YouTube channels is that we can do that for each other. And I'm not out to make the best art videos. That's not my goal. My goal is to make the best art I can and video the process so that someone might learn something by watching me, or somebody might say, hey, you know what? I noticed you're doing this. Maybe if you try it this way, you'll have better success. That's all I want out of this. My channel's not monetized. There's none of that that's going on. I'm not looking for thousands of subscribers, although I am grateful for those that I have. And if I do end up with a lot of subscribers, that's kind of cool. But my goal isn't that. My goal is to share with you my process, my journey. And eventually, hopefully the channel then is going to turn over into just me being able to paint on camera and be able to offer little tips for people who are maybe just getting started. But that's a ways away because I'm still learning. So thanks for joining me today. And thank you again for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. And that helps get my video into other people's view. And that helps build our network of artists that want to help each other out. So thank you. Have a great day. And I will see you on the next one.